What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Dead Pulse Theory, along with my partner Jarvis. I am Jman. So we've only been, what is this, our fifth episode? Technically sixth, I guess, or whatever. Fifth numeraled? That's not a word. Numeric video. Yeah, god damn it, you piece of shit. As you can see by the title, obviously we only are having one topic. So we have had a discussion over the last week. By the way, I do want to apologize that we didn't upload the video on Wednesday last week. We'll get to that thing in a minute as well. We are changing up kind of the format of the show here. We told you guys that it's kind of going to be an ever evolving process, basically, of trying to figure out what's going to work best for us and what's going to work best for you, the viewer, as well. So what we are changing to is we're going to take a topic that obviously we're going to go a little bit more in depth on. You've probably seen in our episodes that we've gone a little bit more in depth on maybe a bigger topic or whatever the case may be. So we're actually going to take just one big topic, and that will be the episode. So obviously you see by the title what the topic is kind of going to be pertaining to. I'm sure we'll kind of delve off into other aspects of it and layers of that. But yeah, so it's going to be just basically one topic a week. And it still can be anything. It could be serious. It could be literally a review of a movie. It could be something that we just want to talk about, a funny thing, topic, whatever it is. If anybody suggests something too that we want to, that you guys want to hear from us, and if it's something that we can come up with and it sounds like a good show, we'd do that too.
Hit that subscribe button.
That's right. That's what B Daddy J got on our dicks about. Yeah, for sure. But if you think we suck ass, just turn it off. just turn our shit off, bro. Nobody fucking cares. Nothing matters.
No, fuck that. Sit through this. Waste your life.
Waste life with us. Come join us. So in turn, it's going to make for shorter episodes, which obviously will be easier for people to sit through. And you're kind of just getting the full range of our opinions on that said topic. So I think we're going to be able to flush that out instead of having to kind of rush on to the next one. So, we don't want to sit there and not explain to viewers or fans or whatever what we're doing. Anytime we come on here and we want to change something, we'll just full-fledged explain it to you guys and why we're going to do it. So that's kind of what we're changing with that. We're also going to change the date, or the day, not the date, the day that we're going to try and upload our videos on. We're going to try and make it on Sundays. Instead of Wednesdays. We were thinking that Wednesdays would probably work out fine. We'd shoot it over the weekend. Sometimes he has stuff going on. Sometimes I have stuff going on. We both have stuff going on. Whatever the case is, where the weekends doesn't work out to be able to shoot. We typically shoot our videos kind of like the beginning of the week. We're shooting this on a Wednesday. So it'll give me the time to, finish up the video and put it up for you guys on a more consistent basis, and hopefully be able to see it every Sunday that we're going to be putting this video up, which I think I'm probably going to end up putting it up this Sunday, or for you it's Sunday. Back to the Future. So there's that there. Now I'm going to let Mr. Jarvis kind of explain kind of where we're going with this conversation, and by the title, it's definitely something that we have wanted to get into since creating this show and creating this channel. So I'll let Mr. Jarvis kind of explain where we're going to be going here for this episode.
Yeah. So I saw something recently. They did like a poll or something. They polled a lot of people about religion and about how there's. It used to be like an under 50 split, where there used to be, for years, it's always been that Christianity or certain religions dominated people's beliefs. Now we're leaning towards going into the 21st century, the first 20 years of the 21st century, where everybody doesn't, there's a lot of people just don't believe in anything. They have no belief system. They don't, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what people believe in, because they don't create their own values, but at the same time they live off the values of their parents, but then they also live off the values of the culture. So it's like, it's just interesting. A lot of people aren't going to church, using the Bible in any sense or anything like that. I don't know. I know a lot of people that are just like either non-religious, atheist, or agnostic to some sense. They don't believe in any specific religion. They don't believe in any structure system. So I don't know. over at least the last year, I've come to know a lot of people. I do know people, obviously, that are still Christians or still that, they're very heavy in their religion. But the generation that we're growing up in now, the millennial culture, and the people underneath us, a lot of us, there's a very nihilistic, meaningless kind of approach to religion nowadays. Like, people don't feel like they need it. So where we wanted to get to was kind of where I am and where you're at religiously. Kind of go from the beginning. Don't go too deep into it, but just kind of go from where we started, where we're at now, and how we got there, kind of. So I'll let you roll.
Yes. So I would say from growing up, I would say from probably the ages of, being born to, I don't know, around 5, 6, 7 or something like that. I was taken to church. Obviously, I did not willingly go to church. If when you're 5 fucking years old, you don't have the will to be like, you know what, Mom, I'm skipping that shit today. So obviously, I think it was not I was not born into a religiously structured family, obviously. Well, not obviously to you guys. You don't know that. But I was not, raised in it's every Sunday we go to church and we do this and we do that, this very structured manner, which some families are. But yes, I did, I was taken to church and things like that. I was aware of, religion and of God or of the idea or whatever that there is an almighty being or whatever. And then I would say into my teens and things like that, once, my parents got divorced when I was really, really young, and I believe that both of them believe in God. And I would say my grandparents, definitely on my dad's side, are more religious than I would say anybody maybe in my family. My grandparents on my mom's side definitely believe in God, and they've gone to church and do this and that. But like I said, growing up, it was not every Sunday we're at church type deal.
Right.
I would go along with them whenever I was like younger, and they'd go for Easter or whatever the case would be. It'd be kind of like bigger, religious occasions or whatever it would be.
Easter stuff like that.
Easter, shit like that or whatever. And then, you'd go have your dinners and things. But it would never be like an every Sunday basis. It's never been that way for, I would say, my entire life.
Right.
And then I would say is when I wouldn't say there was a disconnect. I would just say that there was no knowledge there. There was no known, like, I want to go seek this out or whatever it is. Because I think to me, anytime I think about religion, death comes with that. I feel like it just kind of goes hand in hand because in the scheme of things, the idea is that, what you do in your natural world and on earth or whatever, and then you die and then you go to heaven and all this and that. So, but that revolves around you dying. So I don't want to think about that. I want to think about living. I want to think about day-to-day basis and the things that are going on and the things that I cherish and love in my life. So I would say through my teen years, I just never really equated to any thought to it at all. Somebody would mention, hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I'm doing that, something revolving around religion or around church or whatever the case would be, and be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then people would ask me to be like, well, are you religious? Do you go to church? Like, are you Christian? Are you blah, 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 or whatever, this and that? And I'd be like, sure. Like, not saying, like, not really like thinking anything of it. I would just say it to kind of almost please people.
Yeah.
To kind of almost be like, yeah, whatever. I went to church before. I've done that. But then I would say things started to change, and I would say the last 10 years. I'll be 28 tomorrow. So I would say probably getting out of high school is when I started to kind of question things. Is when I started to kind of really kind of try and wrap my mind around this idea and around this concept of a religion and things like that. I would say obviously every person around that age of, going into college, graduating from high, you're starting to discover life. You're starting to realize, like, okay, what am I? What am I doing? Like, what is going on? Because those things all revolve around, getting out of school, what kind of job are you going to do? Where are you going to go to school? Like, all this and that. And I think that kind of was, like, folded in with that. It kind of went along with that. And the more, because like I said, I'd never thought about it. I just kind of was like pigeonholed into like being like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, sure, I guess I am. I don't know. Sounds cool. But I never really gave it a thought. And the more I thought about it, the more that I, kind of went down and thought of the ideas of like, okay, it just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. It just does not relate to me that this shit is possible, that this shit can be something that is legitimately real in life. Like it just baffles me that when I started to think about it, I'm like, no, like there's just no, like this is crazy. Like if I'm to sit here and use my mind, think with reason and thought, and be free thinking and think outside the box, how in the hell can I believe that? I just can't. So I would say if you had to pigeonhole me, which I don't like. I don't really like to talk about religion. I don't really like to talk about it because I want to be in the here and now. I don't want to go past that. I don't want to go past and dwell on like, well, what's going to happen when I die? Well, like, goddamn, like that's heavy. That's some heavy shit right there. Like, I want to worry about now. I want to worry about the here and now and day by day, and we're not guaranteed tomorrow. So I guess you can say, okay, well, why aren't you thinking about that or whatever, or why isn't that a bigger concern or whatever? But yeah, it all revolved around thinking about like my own mortality, or is that the right word?
Just like your
about
morals?
Yeah, or no, not mortality, or my own
morality.
Is that the right word? Like the death, like the like death of things, and my own, there's a word there, but it's not. I don't think that was the right word. But yeah, so I mean, if you would have to hit me with a title of something, I would say that I am an atheist. I disbelieve in the idea of deities or gods. I think that that a lot of people can say like, well, if you don't, I would just say that I don't know. And a lot of people say, well, that would be considered agnostic. But to me, it's kind of like comparing, Pepsi to Diet Pepsi. There's just diet atheists, and that's what agnostic people are to me. I just feel like people that say they're agnostic and you don't know, well, that is a disbelief in a God, that you obviously, there's either you believe in it or you don't believe in it, in my opinion. And I don't know, so that would mean I disbelief in it. I have disbelief in it. So if that's how you want to kind of narrow it down or whatever, that is kind of where it is. And I would say over the last couple years, I think it's strengthened in my mind of the idea that I don't have anything to die for like some people would that are religious. I have everything to live for, and it's just the way that I live my life. It's everything to me here and now is the most precious to me, and the idea that people can say that that they love a God that they have no proof of existing, that they just have faith in, they just have a belief in, that they love that more than a real live person that you have that loves you and is sitting there and you love. It just blows my mind because that's real. Like that is my wife is real. I love her with all of my heart and more than anything in this world. My parents, my friends, like that's real. That is my belief system. My belief system is what is here and what is now, and what I can prove to be real. Because religion to me is the only thing in the history of humanity that is viewed and is accepted without fact. That is viewed and to be credited as, okay, that's cool. That's the way that you live your life. There's no proof of it. There's no facts to be proven that this is how the world works. That's why there's so many people that believes in numerous different gods and numerous different ways of thought. That's why I heard something the other day that there are more fractions of Christianity and the ways that or the ways that I guess their belief systems or whatever, or Christianity, then there are sentences in the Bible. There are more fractions of religious thoughts and stables or ideas than there are sentences in the Bible. Not to mention all of the other gods that, if a certain person were to grow up in India, they have a different one than if they grew up in Missouri, or if they grew up in fucking, another country where their belief system and their gods or God is different than anyone else. So we'll get into more of that, but that's kind of my basis on things. I would definitely say over the last 10 years, I've given it more thought, and I've really delved into the idea of like, okay, am I going to sit here and really, wrap my head around this and think that it is true? And I just flat out, I don't know, because none of us do. So I'm not going to sit here and believe into something that I have no facts of and that I have no proof of. So I will not believe in that. So if I do not believe in that, then I would say that, yeah, I mean, I guess you could peg me as atheist or a non-believer, I guess would be the term coined for the way that I view things.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've known that forever.
He has known that forever.
So for me, I would say I was raised in a Christian household. We never went to church very often. We went for special occasions, obviously, like Easter. Never studied the Bible. Was always just raised that God was real. God exists or whatever.
Right.
You believe in God. That's just your family structure. And then all the way, probably, I'd say up until about 5 or so years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I went to church and had some bad experiences with some churches, kind of hurt my idea of faith, I guess. Went through a spell where I was, I would probably say for a year, where I was taking every opportunity ever to anybody who was religious to tell them that God wasn't real and you're stupid. And that was probably wrong of me.
Yeah.
I took it out of frustration because of some situations I had with some people from churches that I knew and some relationships I was in. Yeah, that probably was not good of me. But up until that point, I just blindly believed. I was just like, I believe in these stories of the Bible and everything specifically that happened.
So
I was
pretty
just
similar, pretty similar, basically.
Yeah, for the most part. And then I would say over the last year, I have spent large portions, if not entire days, studying the Bible. Like, not just the Bible, but like listening to people give lectures, like stories about the Bible, people talking, like having atheists and people who are Christians and preachers and pastors talk to each other and almost debate each other. I feel like I personally am trying to find some kind of ultimate truth or truths, things that I feel like are 100% true in the world we live in now. I would say that I'm probably, I know you said that agnostics are diet Pepsis, but
Diet atheists.
Yeah, diet atheists. But I would definitely say that I would lean more towards being agnostic. I think that over the time and period that I've been studying the Bible and like other religions, watching documentaries and all, I've spent so much time over the last year just studying and listening to people and watching documentaries and reading for myself and trying to just figure out, I wouldn't say some kind of existential crisis, maybe an existential discovery, just because I feel like...
So, sorry to cut you off. So you are doing your due diligence to learn and not accept.
Yeah, I want to, before I say, no, this isn't real, or no, I don't believe in God, I want to know as much as I can learn about it. I think it's almost like red pilling to some degree. If you don't know something about something, or you discredit it, or like, oh, this is wrong no matter what. And then you learn about it, and the more you learn about it, you're like, maybe this shit is right. Maybe this is right. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe this is that. I have come to the conclusion over the period of time of studying the Bible that I feel like that I don't believe that the stuff that happened in the Bible was literally true or dogmatically true. I would say that I would believe that the stories in the Bible are mythological, and that they teach you how to organize yourself in the world, and they teach you their tall tale stories that, you know, if you can read them from the Bible and you can learn from a church or someone who's versed in the Bible about issues and things that happen to every human being in the world, you know, instead of, you know, you will know about those things and you can avoid them in the future. So it's like not making the mistake by learning the issues and the problems that come from being a human being from the Bible. I think that's the most important thing, and I think that's why it's important that people still follow it. On a spiritual level, I think that there is some way of acquiring nirvana or euphoria from praying or meditation. Some people say taking psychedelics like mushrooms or taking DMT, ayahuasca, stuff like that. They have spiritual experiences where they feel like they're in another dimension talking to beings or something.
But they're under the influence.
They're under the influence, yes, but they are all man-made. They're not man-made, I'm sorry. They're all...
But it doesn't happen naturally.
No, it doesn't happen naturally. You can just pick a mushroom and just eat it and trip. So, to me...
But I'm saying just...
It's the same as like, smoking pot as well, because I feel like there's a lot of things that go to the ideas of religious structure that have come from spiritual experiences from people achieving DMT trips through meditation. You have DMT. You achieve DMT through when you're born, when you die, through meditation, and through taking psychedelics. So like, for years, it's been a thing that people talk about is, you know, the pagan gods and stuff like that. I think every religion is right, and I think it's also wrong at the same time. I think every religion that has a god like Jesus or Buddha, Krishna, Mithra, Egyptian gods, a lot of them are mythological stories that play off of each other. A lot of those gods are also like based around the sun, like the sun and the constellations and stars and moon and all that stuff like that. And they've taken those stories and created those stories, and they've humanized that story into the story of Jesus and the Bible. But I don't know. I feel like the structure of Western culture is I think it's falling apart because people are not following a religion. I think that not having a religion and thinking that you can just do and be whatever you want. A famous philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, I don't know if you know who that is, but he said in like the end of the 18th century, he was like, he came out and said that in a book, he said God was dead, and he was basically like in the next future prophesizing that people were just going to give up on religion and they were going to try to create their own values and own morals. And like the question I would have posed to you, because you say you're an atheist, is where do you get your morals from? Like, are they just passed down for generation to generation, or is it just like a general thing that you don't kill, you don't rape, like you don't, you're nice to people, you don't act shitty, like you're kind?
I think it's similar to the fact that it's on the flip side of it. Why do people kill people? because is there something just chemically wrong with them? Is there something in their makeup that just makes it to where they cannot be fixed or something? Is it just something that's just in your genetic code that is like, you can't look at somebody and be like, well, this guy knows how to, handle this situation. You can look at you as a physical body, but there's no way of telling, and there's no proof of telling that, are you just born with the idea in your brain to think that this is wrong, this is right, fire burns, spiders bite, this or that. But you're taught that obviously through parenting. You're taught that through, being passed down through the generations and those such things. But yeah, I would just say that it's a generational thing. You learn it from the culture that's in. It's the same way that there's, why are there stoplights in place to stop cars from running into each other? Why are there, different sides of the road, or why all those things that are in place to protect people? You're almost born into it this day and age. I mean, obviously, if you were born in like the year 500 or whatever, none of that shit existed. But you're born into a structured pattern of, okay, I have to go here to get my groceries. I have to go there to see a movie. It's already there for at least our generation, and the generation that has everything all structured for us to where we know how to go for our outlets.
So you think it's ingrained in our DNA and in our brain?
I don't think that, because I don't know it. We don't know. I would just say, obviously, the easiest answer is the fact that, well, my parents obviously taught me right and wrong. Mm-hmm. They taught me the way that I should go about doing things, the way that I should live my life, and it had nothing to do with, in my instance, you can say that those things were passed down through this and this and this and this, or stories were told, or however it is of how to be and how to maneuver throughout the world. But for me, I don't need to go any further than the fact that, my parents taught me wrong from right. My parents taught me to respect people, and to respect people, and to judge a person's character by how they are, and to treat people fairly, and to treat people, as you'd want to be treated, and all those, generic kind of phrases, right, and things like that. That were just passed down. That's the easy answer.
Western culture is rooted and based what's at the bottom of Western culture, which is holding up society, which is helping us from, not helping us, but holding us to the standards that we are, is the Bible and Christianity. It is there, and that's where your morals come from.
I don't doubt that that's not where. That is not where, you do this, something bad happens. You do that. That's the way that you should handle things.
You look at Saudi Arabia. They weren't allowed to see movies for I mean, we're looking at how different the world is now, and how way different it is there, because of they don't have that Bible structure there. Women weren't able to drive. They weren't allowed to watch movies.
My problem with it is that, in my opinion, religion structured based of how things are, or how things have to be, in my opinion, in the world that I have seen, has caused more harm than good. From the amount of wars and death that has caused by people trying to say, which God is better, or trying to say,
that's just
my deity
that's the
has
hand of God. That's the
my
hand of
deity
man on
my
religion.
deity has a bigger dickity. And the fact that they're trying to measure dicks of gods, and they're trying to say,
that's because they're trying to figure out which one is the truest of the true, and I think,
and there's no answer, so people just keep dying.
There is no answer, because, like I said, I think every religion is right, but also it's wrong.
Right.
It's
and that's what I would say, that yes, the morals of where you get of how to which I haven't read the Bible. I don't read fiction. So I don't. I can't sit here and rattle off every fucking thing about everything. But the fact is, I do not believe there is somebody living in the sky that's going to take me and have me in eternal heaven for the rest of fucking humanity and the rest of eternity. I do not believe in that. Do I believe that, yes, there is a structured pattern that is a good, I would say, couple step basis of how you should maybe go about living your life, yes, but there is also a negative effect to it because there are different ones that they butt heads, and then it causes all these issues.
You know what a determinist is? A lot of atheists are determinists. They basically believe that where you're born, how you were raised, and your genetic DNA completely determines who you are as a person. It has nothing to do with God or anything. You just...
Well, I mean, I would judge it by the fact that, I mean, how can...
You make your own decisions. Is free will real or not? Can you make your own decisions, or are you being guided? Do you feel... Because we have talked about the universe pulling us together, and that is very much like an idea that it's meant to be, or things are meant to happen. It's kind of...
I don't feel like anybody's controlling that. I don't feel like somebody is doing the marionette strings to control that. I just don't feel like that is... I just don't feel like that's possible. I just don't. I just flat out don't. So yeah, I would say that the structure of the way that I am is dictated by the way that, it's the same way that if people that are born in Alaska have a better way to handle cold. The same way somebody that's born in fucking, the Bahamas can handle the heat. I would say, yeah, everything that is around you is going to affect the way that your life is led. And affect the way that, maybe things happen in your life. So, I mean, I could agree to that to some extent, for sure.
I think that whether or not you believe in Christianity or the Bible or any religion being real or not, I think it, without purpose, without meaning in a human being's life, if you can derive meaning without religion, that's great, because some people can't do that. If you can derive meaning and purpose from it, awesome. But if you can't, the human soul and the person is the normal person.
There also is no scientific proven fact that soul is a thing either.
Well, deep in your brain, I guess, as a human being, people don't want to be happy. They want purpose and they want meaning. They want to have a meaningful life. They want to do meaningful and purposeful things. They don't want to be happy. Happy's a feeling. And you can be happy. That's what happens when you click on Facebook and you make a post and you get 13 likes in less than a minute. Like, that's a serotonin hit. That's right. Happiness. That's not purpose. And that's what religion does for a lot of people who don't have purpose or meaning. It puts that in perspective for them. And I think we are hardwired as human beings. I personally think that's just from my personal feelings and from a lot of accounted stories and things I've heard and read. We are hardwired as human beings to want to believe in a superhero. That's why nowadays I feel like, because the dwindling of religion and definitely in the culture and what's important, if you asked any kid between the age of 14 and 25 or something like that, to quote lines from a Kanye West song, they could, but they wouldn't be able to quote you lines from the Bible. So it's like, it's not important to the our culture for religion.
I would say the same thing, that they might not be able to quote lines from Catcher in the Rye or Moby Dick either.
Well, yeah, people don't read as much as they used to. Reading is not, because everything is...
But it's just set in our standards that has to be the most important book of how to...
Well, and that's the thing is what I mean by hardwired as human beings is, like, us as human beings want to believe in a superhero. We want to believe in somebody and something that is above us. It doesn't have to be God. It can be Iron Man. It can be Batman. It can be
family, parents.
It can be Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
People saw Hulk Hogan as a superhero.
Yeah.
Little kids see John Cena as a superhero.
Yeah.
When, like, that's what kids want to see.
It's a role model.
It's a role model, but they want someone to look up to that is going to be the harbinger of justice and do the right thing all the time and tell the right story and give all those correct and right things you should do in your life. And that's why the Bible is so important, because I generally think as human beings we want to believe in a superhero. And if we believe in a superhero that shows us and teaches us how to be the best people that we can be or live a meaningful life, that's important. And I think one of the major issues with the way humanity is right now, at least in the United States, is there's too many people who don't believe in anything. They don't believe in anything. They don't. Everything. What do you mean? Everything is meaningless.
So, in what I've explained, would you say that I don't believe in anything?
No, you would characterize yourself as an atheist, as in you don't believe literally that a God is true. However, I do believe that you believe in a value structure and a humanistic structure that is very religious. You consider yourself straight edge as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a choice to do those things. You believe in the family and the importance of the relationships and doing the right thing, and that to me, you don't have to believe in a God for that to be a thing. Like I said, if you were raised with those values, but at the same time, it's important that we don't lose that religion in our culture. I think that it's important because there is a lot of young people that I feel like they think...
Well, I would say...
They're nihilistic and their lives are meaningless.
Right.
They think nothing matters.
Right.
So they're just like, I'm going to kill myself.
Right.
I think... And then that's why people... I think that's a lot... I mean, there's a lot of factors going into it. Parenting, chemical imbalances. But I think that you can get out of those with medication, with help. But the ones that... Sometimes you can't because you're stuck in your own head and you think nothing matters.
Yeah.
You think nothing matters and everything's meaningless, and that's wrong.
Yeah, and I would
you have to believe in something.
Yeah, I would say
if it's the Bible, if it's God, then you have to do that to want to live.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just want to kill yourself and nothing is important.
And I would say it is a large, not a large majority. It's a lot of people that obviously that we're talking about here, but it is still a small margin of people when it comes down to things that literally have nothing. I mean, it is a lot of people in.
I think a lot of people think
like
that they're atheist. I don't think that when people say, I think that the term is coined too loosely. When I don't think you coin yourself as an atheist, but I don't coin you as an atheist in my personal opinion because I think you have true, meaningful.
But see, you're looking at it as you're looking at it as a symbolism of what I use to. I am looking at it the way that the world has looked at it for eternity, which is if you live your life this way and you do this, the magical being in the sky will take you and let you live eternally and all this and that shit. And I am saying
it's literally true. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's what I am saying, because I am saying that it is a large portion of people that look at it literally. Mm-hmm. It is a large portion of people that look at it, this is what they believe. This is what they think is going to happen. Mm-hmm. They live their life this way, and they're doing it based off of this myth, in my eyes. They're doing it based off of the idea that this is actually going to happen because it is easy to think that way. It is a lot harder.
It's not easy to believe in the Bible. It's harder to believe in the Bible than it is to believe in anything in the world.
I think it's a cop-out because I think, in my opinion, that it is easiest to say, if I do what is right, then good things will happen to me. I don't need to think outside of that. I don't need to actually put fact and reason and use my fucking mind to think about the fact that this sounds like bullshit. I don't have to think about that. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I just feel like it's easier for people to believe into. They don't have to study it. They don't have to know it. They don't have to word by word know everything about it. The simple 1, 2, 3 step. I am born. I live my life good. I go to heaven. People will believe that structure, regardless if they read a Bible, regardless if they go to church. They believe into it because they think that it's going to happen.
Right.
And they don't.
You think it's wrong
for them to
believe that?
There is no. I think that it is. There's no base on fact. There is no factual and proven evidence that is true. So I would say they need to use their mind to think. They need to. They have cut themselves off from
but
freedom
if it makes
of thought.
them a good person and they are,
if they're good people,
if they're morally okay, but they believe in something and it's literally, if they think it's, think it's literally not true, but they think it is.
My opinion is that they're wrong, but if they're good people, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care, because at the end of the day, I'm not in control of their life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit about. I am in control of what I can do.
Right.
And if they live their life well, if it does not cause issues. Now, again, like I said, there are people, and there is tons of cases of religion causing issues and people being against people for just who they are as people, and for who they are, what they think. Because I think it's really, really funny that the most people that pressure people into judgment are people that are religious. There are a lot of people that are judgment placers that are religious, and there is no fact behind their judgments. So that pisses me off, because I have been in situations in my life where people will judge how I look at something with no fact to prove their judgment, with no basis to go off of. They just do it because that's what they think. I have never pressured anybody into saying, you're wrong. I've never went up to somebody and be like, you're fucking wrong, you idiot. Like, don't think that way. No. Do I want religion to go away? No, because everybody is free to have their own opinion and think their own way.
Right.
And like I said, and I do agree with the fact that if it makes you a good person, if you don't harm anybody, if you're not getting in anybody's way, if you're not preaching on it, if you just use that to base your life off. I know tons of people, majority of people that I run into that are religious. Pretty much everybody at my work I talk to, I genuinely have great relationships with all of them. I have great relationships with people that are Christian, that are non-believers, whatever the case is. If you live your life and you do the right things, however way you got to doing it, I don't care. As long as you treat people the way that people deserve to be treated, you are fair and you are kind and you are respected and respect others, then I don't care, because that's how it should be done. You shouldn't go around being a piece of shit to people, obviously.
Right.
And if people have used the Bible or religion to get to that point, then as long as you're a good person, I don't care, because it's not my life.
It's the crazy nutso type of people that take the
literally.
Bible, they take it literally, and they don't take it as a mythology story,
or a way to live your life, right?
As a guidebook to a how-to manual of things you should avoid and things you should do to help you.
Right.
Especially like you go back to the beginning with Genesis and all that stuff. That stuff's very important to the very beginnings of life, and it's very psychological if you think about it. But I mean, for me, not like when it comes to saying it's dying in America, I think it is, and I think it's a really big issue. I think it's a really big issue because you have people that think that they can interchange between genders. They people that are okay with that. And to me, like I don't know, man. You got suicide rates that are alarming. You got people that are narcissistic beyond belief, and they are just trying to get likes, and they're posting pictures of their half naked bodies on the internet, trying to get people to share and like all their stuff. It's just that structure is not there for people anymore. It's not important to them. They'd rather have the serotonin hit of happiness or excitement than sit down and read a book. And I think reading and or listening to books on audio is very important. I think people there's so much history that people don't know about, and things that people aren't paying attention to, and we're not learning from our mistakes because they're not reading about the history of humanity. And the same mistakes that are happening now are the same mistakes that have been happening for years that young people are, doing, and they're not reading and not figuring out the history between now and then. Like, nobody knows because it's not important to the culture. Because you got people that are celebrity worshiping.
Yep.
They don't care about the morality. But I would say this,
I would say our culture is more regression than progression.
Yeah, I think it's regressing with more morality, at least. The biggest reason why I can't say to you that I am on the same lines as you as an atheist is I'm not 100% comfortable with saying that we just out of nowhere created our morals. I think that we're hardwired in our brain to know wrong from right, but also it has a lot to do with how you're raised, because if you're raised from the time you're a child until the time you're a teenager and all you were taught was how to kill people, you're going to have no remorse. It's going to be deep in your fucking brain, and you're going to be like, you have no feeling behind it.
My thing that
I think that's what the Bible teaches.
The only thing you're getting stuck on is just the Bible.
Yeah.
And I think that there is no who says that it couldn't just be man that created that, and that they got a bunch of people together and they're like, listen, this is the way we want to structure and this is the way we want to sit things.
Has Christianity done more good than harm?
In my opinion, that's done more harm. In my opinion.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn, that's super nihilistic. I think that
I just feel like the countless amounts of I don't know. It's just my opinion. I just feel like there is more harm. There is more harm than good. If that wasn't ever an issue, we would have found our own way to live life. I don't think that I can just base. Right. I don't think I could just sit there and base like, this is the way. This is the be all end all. This book told me how to live my fucking life. Like, I'm not gonna go with that. I just can't, because I can't believe it, because it wasn't. It was made by man. Like, it was a man create. Like, no, there's no proof that it is not, and there's no proof that it is. But it's words that is created by a man. It's inspired by it's somebody that maybe just had a premonition. Maybe there was a fucking David Koresh of that era and it ended up being Jesus, and everybody believed into it, and all of a sudden that fucking cult leader ended up taking off and being the ultimate cult leader, just like how all those other cult leaders were formed and made and thought up, but yet we used our minds to think and be like, that's fucked up.
Is the stuff that's the teachings of the Bible?
I mean, I
wrong?
cannot say.
It's not a cult.
I mean,
if it's
I have to go
right morals.
But to those people, a lot of but that could have been the genesis of the first cult. That could have been if they got the right set of rules done or whatever. But what I'm saying is the leader behind it, because we're focusing too much on literature, because the literature is made to say do you believe when you die you are going to heaven? Do you believe there is a God?
I don't know.
Exactly. So
I don't know, but
right, and nobody does. But that's the point I'm getting at. Nobody does.
But the reason that I don't know, instead of saying I 100% don't believe that it's not true.
We're getting caught up on definitions of agnostic and atheist, because just disbelieving in God, to me, because I just don't like the term. I don't like the term agnostic, because, like I said, it is just, you don't want to fully commit to just saying that there is or not.
Black and white thinking. It has to be. It can't be you're either religious or you're not religious. And I think
why not?
Because you have to develop as a person and just like figure things out on your own.
Do you think when you die there is a God, or do you think that there is not? Like that, it's just faced of I get we're talking about the literature, the way to live your life, this and that. That's cool. But when it all push comes to shove, the idea is that is what happens. There is this magical being that is bringing us all together and is pulling the fucking strings of our lives. And if you are good and you do the right things, then you will be able to stay with your loved ones forever in the history of eternity in this magical place. That is the idea behind what we're getting at here. And I think we're focusing too much on just the literature of the Bible.
I think that's the end goal. I think that's the literal definition of what people feel like.
But that's what I'm saying.
No. Listen. To me, it's not about the end payoff. For me, it's not about the end payoff, just like it is for some people. That's the incentive to read the Bible, to believe in what's happening, so that when you die, you go somewhere like heaven. That's the incentive. But to me, what's important is what it teaches for you to live in your life, and whether or not you believe at the end of the day, when you die, you go to heaven. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is if it's important, and I know you're saying it because you're atheist because you don't believe in a deity or an actual God. But if there's not an actual God and who came together? I can't say who came together, but I can say what gave us our.
We don't know.
What gave us our structure of morals? That's the reason I cannot say.
That's literature. We're just focusing on literature. And I think you keep saying literal, but literal is the definition. That is what it is. Jesus died for your sins. There is God. You will go meet that.
Right.
That is when we say, yeah, it's literal, because that's what they believe.
So you don't,
that is legitimately. If I go to the people in my work, I'll be like, "What's going to happen to you as a guy when you die?" I'm going to go meet all of my loved ones, and I'm going to live in this magical land for a history of eternity. Yeah. That's what they fucking believe.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. You don't believe in the Bible as true, and you also don't believe in spirituality as true. You don't think that there's any spiritual outreach.
What is the definition of spirituality to you?
I think to me, reaching levels of euphoria and like nirvana.
Why can't we do that in life? How do we not do that in life?
But we do it like through meditation and.
No. Why was I was euphoric at my wedding? Well, I don't have to be on drugs. I don't have to.
You were happy at your wedding.
I beg to differ. I would say that I have a overflowing. I don't have to sit there and because a lot of this stuff that you're talking about is only based off of you having to do something to corrupt your chemical, which is science, chemical balance in your brain to have somebody. And then there's also no proof of what they actually feel. You cannot judge. You can't have a video clip of what they saw. There's no fact of it. There is no fact. They can only tell you what they experience because, and if you go and before they happen, they could be like, well, I am Christian, I'm religious, or I believe this way. And then they go in and they can skew your opinion by just telling you. You can't believe them. You can't believe that they are experiencing that.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the literature, but you keep saying it's not important. But how is it that the literature of the Bible was right when it comes to morals?
How is it that it's right?
How was it right? How was it right that you...
Because it does. It teaches you a basic structure of how to live your life.
How was it right? How was it right? How was it... That's the way you should live as a human being.
How did it come to be?
Yeah. How is it just multiple writers came together and made that as this is the value structure of how you should live. This is what morals are.
The same way.
Where did that come from?
How did the direct Declaration of Independence come to be? How is it the way that we structure our lives around the Constitution?
How do those morals come about? How do you know it's okay not to kill someone?
We don't know. We don't.
It's pretty self-evident that you shouldn't kill people, right?
Right. We don't, but we don't know how that happened. How, is it in our chemical balance or chemical makeup, our genetic code?
But it's okay.
We don't know. We can't. There is no evidence to prove that.
But it's okay for us to kill animals to eat food. So, like, how do we know it's not okay to kill human beings? How do we know that? That's why I can't just be like, I do or
there's
do not
a lot
believe.
more literature in that book that's pretty fucked too. We gonna stone some gay people as well? Is that cool?
No,
yeah.
I don't.
See, that's the point. There is problems with it.
I get it.
There is problems.
Don't like low blow it. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not low blowing. It's fact. It's what is written in the fucking Bible. Like, it is what is said. What I'm saying is we're focusing too much on just literature. Could somebody? How is it not possible that somebody could come to be and say that those the morals of how to live your life? How is it possible that we can't do that? How is it possible that we don't know?
We're gonna find out. We're going to find out in the next 100 years when the Bible is not relevant, when people don't care about religion anymore. The generation that is coming up in the next, if we're alive in the next 50 years and the Bible's disappeared, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Things are already happening. Because it's not there anymore. The structure of morality is not there. People think it's just okay to do whatever they want chaotically. There is no biblical structure, and that's the issue.
But the makeup of those people... You have to go into...
It's not about believing if God is real or not. That's the point I'm trying to be is that is the payoff, and that's what people are trying to believe literally. The point of the issue is for society to believe in the Bible, to be real, just because the morals are right. You don't like. I'm right when I say I'm not right, but what I'm trying to say is I'm right in believing that the myths are there to help us act right in the world.
That's fine. Do you believe in God?
I don't know. I'm close, man.
Neither do I.
I'm close.
I don't either.
And I'll end with this because I'm curious.
We're ending it?
Well,
I ain't done yet.
I'll end with this because I wanted to know what you believe is true. What you believe from your time on Earth, the things that are true they're true to you. They're the most true to you, that are the most truthful to you in the world, that are the most important truths to you.
What are the most important truths to me?
Or things that are 100% without a doubt, 100% true, that you believe, that you're just like, this is a real thing.
2 + 2 = 4.
I'm not talking about science. I'm just talking about, like, okay.
We can't bring science into this shit.
Well, no, science. Okay, that because that's what happened, because it was the coming of the Enlightenment, science and rational thinking that.
Well, just explain. Give your answer to that.
For the truth, okay. Things that I consider true. Okay, music is true. It's 100% true. It makes you feel emotion. Yeah. It can make you feel motivated. It can make you feel angry.
Agreed.
It can give you any sort of emotion.
Agreed.
Music is 100% true. Love is 100% true. Okay.
Yep.
I've been in love. I've had people love me. I've had family members. I've had friends love me. Love is 100% true.
Agreed.
The feeling of being loved and loving someone else.
I love you.
Okay. I love you too. All right. Suffering is 100% true.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter who you are as a human being, if you say to me, you've never suffered in your life, you're a liar.
Yep.
Like, that is 100% true. And the one that I've been working on the most, which is why, the point I wanted to get to more than anything, which is why, because this is the thing I've been really tossing around for the last year when it comes to the Bible and different things, is balance. Because everything is, to me, the story of Jesus and that stuff isn't about a real person. It's about every person. It's about you as a human being being the devil and being Jesus. And it's making the right decisions in your life. And it's about finding that balance. Because if you're too orderly or you're too chaotic, shit gets fucked up. It's Taoism. It's the way. It's being in the middle. It's the yin and yang. And it's, to me, that's why we have so many issues with politics, is because we have the right and we have the left, and then we have the radical right and then we have the radical left, and both sides get looked at bad because you have crazy people that are acting like Nazis on the right, and then you have crazy people that think that you can be boys and girls on the left. Like, it's in the middle. It's a balance of finding that road right up the seam where things are important but not too important. Things are right and also wrong at the same time. And that's why I said that I think religion is wrong and it's also right, because it does have the hand of man on it. It has the hand of man written in it, because there's a lot of good in religion, but there's also a lot of bad in religion, because you as a human being, every single day, people are struggling with doing the right and the wrong thing. And to me, that's why it's important for us to not lose religion in America, because it shows you that moral structure. And I am seeing, as a human being, the declining of humanity in the United States because people are not following a religious structure. I think that people just...
And a religious structure doesn't actually have to mean religious?
I mean, it doesn't have to mean religious, but until something comes
So
along,
would you say I'm a part of the problem?
I don't think you're a bad person, and I don't think you're bad for saying you're an atheist.
Right.
But you have you don't believe in God literally, but you believe in the structure of being a good human being and morality, which is the major structure of
based off the literature and Bible, right?
Yeah, not just the Bible, but like with stuff with Buddha and Krishna and Mithra and all these Egyptian gods and different things. Right. They take
from each other,
and it's all right and it's all wrong.
Right.
And it's.
I would agree that there is definitely rights and there are definitely wrongs. I would definitely agree with that for sure.
So to me, those are the four. Music, love, suffering, and balance. To me, those are the four things that I feel like. I just went on a truth quest, like over the last, like I said, year, where I wanted to know the most truthful things that I could. That to me. What if I could create my own value structure personally, that's what I would do. But then I came to the conclusion that stuff is prevalent and important in the Bible, and that's what it teaches you, is the Bible not being literally real, but it's you are like Jesus. You have to figure out if you're right or you're wrong. and what's right and wrong. And that, to me, that's why it's important to see.
And I think that opens up a door that's a lot bigger discussion, which is just the discussion of life and how we are as people and how we interact with each other and things like that. And I think that definitely opens up that door for sure. Yeah. Well, that was fun.
I mean, you know, it's a good conversation to have because to me it is,
at the end of the day, it's the biggest question in all of humanity. It's the biggest question.
Like, and it's not going to be like, well, you're a Democrat and a Republican, we're not friends anymore. Like, it's not like that.
No.
Because
there's still, it's just based off of how you are as a human being, how you are as a person.
It definitely comes down to that is who you are as a person as well. But from my studies and the things that I've accounted, that's how I feel about it to this point. And maybe a year from now, I might feel different.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning new stuff every day about different things and how I feel about it, and I'm going to continue to hold on to my truths. Yeah. Things that I feel like are 100% the truth.
Yeah.
To me. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people would agree with my truths, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a good basis off of that, and that's kind of how I've ran my life is I covet what is realist to me, and I cherish what is realist to me, which is, you know, all of my loved ones and everything around me that matters most.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I don't need anything else past that. I have everything to live for right here. I don't need anything more than that, because this is my ultimate. You know, everything that has happened with me, meeting my friends, and you know, me and my wife. You know, the amazing opportunity that I've had to live my life with her has meant anything more than you could ever promise me after this. I don't want anything more than that. So I mean, I don't. I definitely want to end this on saying that I will never ever tell anybody that is religious or believes in something that they are flat out wrong. I will never say that to anybody. Everybody is free to their own opinion. Mm-hmm. The way that I judge it is if it starts to cause harm and begins to be a problem to where you're affecting other people's lives because of the way that you view life and beliefs and things like that, then it's a problem. Because then whenever you start to affect somebody else just because they don't think the same way as you, that's a problem to me. Because now you're throwing judgment and shame onto somebody that is just sharing their opinion. Because at the end of the day, there is no you know, black and white, you know, fact on this.
It's hard. There is no ultimate truth. Yeah,
it's just
there
opinions.
Is no ultimate truth.
And like I said, I think it's the only thing I can't think of where it is people fully commit their lives to something that has no basis of truth to it. There's nothing else in life I can think of where people literally dictate their life off of something that is not have any semblance of fact to it. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
And I'll say this, like, I don't know if I believe I don't believe the stories in the Bible were literal or true. I think the Bible was meant for the climb, not for the top of the mountain. I don't think it's about where you go when you die. I think it's about where you are when you live and how you live, and that's why I feel like it's important. And you know, I don't know. Like I said, I could say I'm agnostic as much as I want because I don't know. I couldn't fully believe.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's about the climb, not the mountaintop. So
I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. But yeah, definitely a good discussion here is one of the big key things that we really wanted to get into when we started this show, and I felt like we definitely were excited to get into it and have the discussion and things like that. And so be sure to share your guys' thoughts on that huge, obviously, topic, and share your opinions on your belief system if you want to. If you don't want to, that's totally cool. And if you have any thoughts on our thoughts on this matter,
no judgment here. No judgment.
Absolutely not. Like I said, there's no judgment on anything. So I mean, if you're free to leave anything in there for sure. But yeah, be sure to comment down there if you do have your thoughts in there, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy what we got going on here. Like I said, we're going to be changing it to probably weekly uploads on every Sunday now. It'll give me a little bit better opportunity to kind of work on everything and get it up there on a consistent basis for you guys. And I do apologize for the late upload on the last video. If you haven't checked out any of our other videos, go back to the channel and check those out. And like I said, this is kind of be our new structure of just doing kind of one big topic and kind of elaborating more on that. But yeah, I guess this will now wrap it up for my partner Jarvis. I am Jman. This will wrap up edition of the Dead Pulse Theory, and we'll see you guys next week.